$1 million question is, who is Jim Archibald? Who is he, and how is he going to aid and help Lori Vallows in her defense against the capital murder charges that she has levied against her in the state of Idaho in the death of her son, JJ, her daughter, Tylee, and in the death of Tammy Daybell? How is Jim Archibald going to help her, and who is Jim Archibald? Thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is Will Finley, and I am an independent criminal justice reporter here on YouTube, Instagram, Reddit, and on Facebook. Who is Jim Archibald? Well, Jim Archibald is a well-respected attorney in the state of Idaho, everywhere from Boise, down in Boise, Idaho, all the way up to the Panhandle area of Idaho. He has been a public defender in the state of Idaho since 1991, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll let you in on a little secret. If you like the rugged, rough, kind of like country backwoods man, the Grizzly Adams look, he's the man for you. He's got that look. But Jim Archibald has been well respected, a seasoned attorney. So much so, ladies and gentlemen, let's put it this way, to kind of give you some context to just how seasoned is Jim Archibald over Mr. Means. Jim Archibald has by himself taken 85 cases from the actual defendant through the pre-trial, the trial, all the way through to the end. 85 trials, ladies and gentlemen. That's almost 2/3 more than Mr. Means has in his entire career. Of those 85 trials, ladies and gentlemen, in 10 separate counties, he has received not guilty verdicts. Meaning, of those 85 trials in 10 different counties up and down the state of Idaho, he has taken his defendant from all the way from being charged with a crime all the way through the process to the point where they were found not guilty. He's a very well-respected individual. As a matter of fact, his co-workers, fellow attorneys, judges, court reporters, all speak very highly of him as a professional and as an individual. They say that he is always punctual. He knows what he's doing. He's always prepared and is one step ahead, always than where he needs to be. As an individual attorney, there is probably no one out there in the actual public defender's offices in any county in the state of Idaho more respected than Jim Archibald. It just got lucky for Lori Vallows that he became available, and the case that he was currently working on just ended, and he was the next public defender in the state who has the ability to practice law in a county when Lori Vallows is being charged, to next attorney up to be able to help defend Lori Vallows. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, there are only a handful of attorneys in the entire state of Idaho in public defenders' offices. Yes, think of all the people who live in the entire state of Idaho. There are only a handful of attorneys in the entire state who are in the public defender's office with actual experience and who have been certified to actually aid in a capital murder case. Only a handful. And the one at the top of that entire list is Jim Archibald. Jim Archibald comes highly touted, as I already said, well respected, as I already said, and experienced. He has a terrific track rating, and if you look at the private websites that are out there where people can rate their experiences with attorneys and judges, anonymously or by using their own names, Jim Archibald has a 4.5 rating out of a possible 5. That's who Jim Archibald is. Well respected, always ready to go, doesn't screw around, and he's got that Grizzly Adams look. So, Jim Archibald has, 3 different offices that he works at. One is out of Boise, Idaho. One is out of Idaho Falls, and another is in Rexburg, Idaho. So he is, in that area, practicing law already. There are several different attorneys who use all those offices. He does not have, per se, his own private practice, but he does do a lot of private practice law as well, mainly dealing with probate and other small misdemeanor crimes. But he has taken cases everything from DUIs all the way to capital murder. And Lori Vallows is the lucky recipient of his services from here on out. So, but we need to look at the actual timing. When it comes to placing an attorney like Jim Archibald on this case, timing is everything. Not only was the timing impeccable that his case just finished up and he didn't have another case to move on to right away, but he was the top possible attorney, which automatically is going to eliminate all the possibilities of, and when she loses on the end of this, all this, of her being able to say she didn't get effective counsel. But the more important thing that we need to take a look at is, why did the state go out and look for an experienced capital murder defense attorney for her now, as opposed to waiting another month? They could have waited another 2 months until she is done with her, at least the first 90 days of her restorative care. They could have waited. They didn't have to do it right now. The reason why is clear. They are very confident at this point that in 90 days, Lori Vallows' restorative care will be finished. And they appointed Jim Archibald to the case now so he can get a running start on getting, going through all the evidence and everything else. So when she is released from at the end of that 90 days and she is back, they can get everything on track again and get the trial moving. That's why they put him on the case now. Just look at Mr. Wood. When did he go out and bring in the special prosecutor, the murder attorney, who specializes in nothing but prosecuting high, risk and hard to prosecute cases, like a case like this, Lori Vallows and Chad Daybell, because he knew when the right time was to bring somebody in, and she went through everything. And what she went through was probably the most graphic things that she'll probably see in an awfully long time. And I hope to God she never has to see anything like this again. But he brought her in, she went through the evidence, and then, and only then, did he present the entire case to the grand jury. If she wouldn't have thought that there was enough there to be able to prosecute these two and present it to a grand jury and get an indictment on murder for all the cases that they had before them, they wouldn't have done it. But he brought her in at the right time. And the right time right now is to have Jim Archibald placed in this case in Lori Vallows' defense, even though nothing will go forward until she is done with the restorative care. So that is who Jim Archibald is. To answer a couple of questions that people have asked in my last video about Lori Vallows, and why Jim Archibald is second seat or counsel in this case. It works like this: Mr. Mean was the first attorney on the case, and he is listed as lead counsel in the case. Every attorney after that will be listed second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever down the road, as long as how many attorneys they need. And that's how it works. Until they go to court and they file a motion to have Jim Archibald move to lead attorney when the trial starts, and they most likely will at that point, unless Jim Archibald wants to hold Mr. Means' hands, which I don't see as an option really for Mr. Means or for Jim Archibald. Why would he want to hold his hand through the entire case when he can have Mr. Means follow along and learn as he goes along, ride his coattails, if you will? But they will eventually, down the road, a motion will be filed to move him to lead counsel. But that is why he is not, and he will never be named lead counsel unless they file that motion to actually have it done. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how the state of Idaho works. It may not be the same way in your state. It may not be the same way in my state, but that is how it works in the state of Idaho. The other question that I've seen that's come up in the comments section of my video, along with on the internet, is that the state attorney general's office and the state bar of the state of Idaho is looking at filing criminal charges against Mr. Means, or at least have him disbarred. No, ladies and gentlemen, there is no such investigation or charges to have been filed against Mr. Mean. And how do I know this? I'm going to give you the information right here and now, because that's what I do. I'm here to give you the factual, documented evidence in this. Every single state in the United States, every state, and I mean every state, releases a list of attorneys who have passed the bar exam in their state, who have been sanctioned, fined, disbarred, died, ladies and gentlemen, every single month. Along with that, they have a number that you can call for the State Bar Association and check on the actual status of an attorney's legal license to practice law. It's a 1-800 number, ladies and gentlemen, and this is in every single state in the United States. There is no exclusions. This is something that every state has decided that is important. And there are even some states that put out a monthly or bi-monthly magazine where on the last 10 pages they list all the attorneys again who are under investigation, have been fined, disbarred, or have died. There is nothing. I called the state of Idaho Bar Association. There is no open investigation looking into improprieties by Mr. Means. There are no open investigations of criminal matters against Mr. Means. There is nothing there. See, the best thing about this is I can actually look up the information. You can look up the information. But most people out there will not. Because all they need is an internet rumor to spread the lies. And then 2 people hear it, or they see it, and they believe it. And now they've built a confirmational bias against the actual truth. That's how the world works, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm here to make sure that you get the facts. And to make sure that you tune in next week, or tune in for the next episode here on 411 Now. And make sure to check me out on Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. 411 Now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You stay safe out there.